I'm going to talk to you about two different realms. Now, in my book, The Story of With, the allegory itself talks about two realms, the orphan realm and the freedom realm. And that's what I'm going to go into a little bit here with you, because this is how we make better decisions on our journey, I believe, is understanding the realms that are before us. Letting open and closed doors determine our future, our next steps, I believe is based on two things. If we let the open and closed doors act as the main guide of our decisions, if you want to write this down, we're basing it in a flawed way on self, meaning our own understanding, and on scarcity. And by scarcity, I mean, let's say that there's a situation where you have the choice to work with 3 different publishing houses. You've always wanted to be a writer. You have an agent. And now your proposal has gone out, and 3 publishers, all equally good but different, say yes. We want to publish your work. How do you decide which of those 3? Now, we could create a pro and con list, and that's using our own wisdom, and that's not bad, but it's not enough. Or what if one says yes and 2 say no? If one says yes and 2 say no, a lot of people would say, well, they're all equally good publishing houses. God knows I want to be a writer. So it's a no-brainer. Like, one said yes, 2 said no. I guess God closed those doors, and I guess he opened this door. But the problem is, usually people don't ask God. Maybe God's showing us how to pick a lock on a closed door. Maybe he's teaching us patience. Maybe he's waiting for a relationship for us to actually talk to him instead of running toward a door that opens up. How do we know? Well, it's getting back to intimacy and relationship with God. But when we base it on scarcity, there's only 3 options and 2 said no. Well, I'm not going to let this one go away. We find ourselves later a lot of times in trouble, in problems, because things go south and we want God to rescue us. And the question is, well, did God ever say to go there? Or did a door just open and you ran into it or through it? So that's what we're going to look at. How we make decisions reveals which of these 2 realms I'm going to go into that we're living in. And I'm going to start with the orphan realm. So if you're taking notes, I would have one page, maybe across from each other, have a spread, and have orphan realm on one at the top and freedom realm on one at the top. In the orphan realm, the only way to be more is to do more. So if you want to be more popular, you do these things more. If you want to be more liked, if you want to be more successful, you do more. And the response to doing more is then, okay, do more. And you did that well, now do more. And so it's a very high focus on productivity. Not that productivity is bad, but in the orphan realm, it becomes the main way to identify yourself, is what you do. It's also a fear-based realm. Fear can look different with different people. So fear could play out as very controlling. Not just a very frightened person, but a very loud, controlling person at the base, at the heart, could be very fearful. So it's a fear-based realm where there's only so much to go around, and there's winners and losers, and you have to constantly be doing more to stay ahead. Now, if you want to see what this looks like in practice, this is a sign at a basketball gym where my son plays basketball, and it was for middle school. And so you walk in, and before you go through the doors to the gymnasium, it says 4 questions. What are you doing? Number 2, what are you supposed to be doing? Number 3, are you doing that? Number 4, what are you going to do, and when are you going to start? I mean, that really motivates you, doesn't it? Like, this is a place of play. This is a fun place, and I don't believe any way to read that without tone. and without attitude. And notice how many times the word do or doing is in it. It's also pretty irritating because for somebody that's so anal to create this sign, it's 5 questions. It's not 4. There's 5. And it's just an orphan realm sign. It assumes we're needing to do more, but we're somehow not doing enough, and we're probably doing it wrong. And when are we going to get our act together and start doing it right? In the orphan realm, guys, God is primarily a teacher, and we are tasked with answering or mastering a question or a lesson. This is a lot of the way people see God. I'm not saying God isn't a teacher, but I'm saying they see him primarily as a taskmaster in the orphan realm. Are you getting it right? I heard somebody the other day say, I guess God's just got me stuck in this place until I master whatever lesson he's trying to teach me. Like I'll just stay stuck. And I was able to say, I don't think that's necessarily how God operates. I don't think he stands with his arms crossed, waiting for us to just keep getting it right. I think God more as a father who's engaged with us. But in the orphan realm, he's a distant teacher who wants you to get the lesson right. And we're students trying to pass the test. And we may get an F, and we may get a D, and we may have to repeat the class, but the goal isn't greater intimacy with the teacher. The goal is just get it done and do it right. In the orphan realm, life is hard, and it's up to us. Because really there's nobody else but us trying to make it happen. And then success. Well, success in the orphan realm is getting by only to get up and have to do it again. There's a great clip from I Love Lucy, the black and white series, where they're in a chocolate factory. Her and Ethel have taken this job, and there's a conveyor belt, and all they have to do is wrap the chocolates that go by. And it starts super easy, and the conveyor belt's really slow. But then it begins to speed up, and they're told if any gets through unwrapped, if a piece of chocolate doesn't get wrapped, they get fired. And so there's this pressure. And soon they're stuffing the chocolate in their hat and in their pockets and eating it. And it's a hilarious scene, but there's a lot of truth in it to being in this orphan realm mindset. Because the supervisor comes out at the end of that scene, and it looks like they've done everything right. Now, they've got chocolate in their mouth, and their hat's tilted with chocolates in it and in their pockets. But the supervisor looks and goes, okay, speed it up. And that's the end of that scene. So they're fighting this losing game. That's the orphan realm. The more you do, the more you're told to do. It's a losing game. And it's a realm of without. There's not much of God's presence. There's not much relationship. It's a realm of without. George MacDonald, the Scottish theologian and writer, says, without God, man must fail miserably or succeed even more miserably. So success in the orphan realm is really failure because you're not doing what you love to do. You're not living life without God. With God, you're just, everything's without. Now the freedom realm is realm 2. And in this freedom realm, God is primarily the good father. He invites us on a journey. It's not about did we get all the answers to the test right? It's saying, come with me on a journey. Jesus, when he meets the disciples, the first thing he says is, follow me. Come with me. Let's go on a journey together. We're sons and daughters who are loved unconditionally. This is a love-based realm. Everything in life comes down to fear or love. It's not love or hate. It's fear or love. Every decision you make is a fear-based or love-based decision. This is a love-based realm. Life isn't all up to you. And the only way here, it flips. The only way here to do more is to be more. It starts with who you are, not what you do in a realm of freedom. That's a realm of with as opposed to without. Now, the reason this is important, these two realms, is because the realm you're in changes your view of open and closed doors. If you're in an orphan realm and it's all up to you, and you try to apply for a job, or you have your manuscript out there and 2 doors close and 1 opens, you better run through that door because it's all up to you and that's the only door open. If all 3 open, it's all up to you to make the right decision. Don't blow it. And if none of the doors open, man, you're a loser. And it was all up to you and you didn't make the cut. You're not wanted. But in the freedom realm, we get to learn to hear God's voice. God invites us to do life with him. And so in the freedom realm, decisions become invitations. The decisions before us, the hurdles, the unknown, actually become invitations to enter into it with him. And we have a chance then to ask God what he's up to. God, what's your interpretation of this? What is your interpretation of this impossible thing before me? All 3 doors closed. All opened. I don't know which one to say yes to. I don't have one to say yes to. The one that opened, should I just go through it or should I wait? Well, it's an invitation. God, what is your interpretation in this? Remember the Jeremiah passage. God says, I will show you great things you can't know on your own. In John 10:27, it says, my sheep listen to my voice. This is Jesus talking. I know them and they follow me. They know my voice, they hear me, and they follow me. They take a journey with me. Jeremiah 33:3, call to me, I will answer. So see, in this setting, faith isn't needed at the victory party after the battle's been won. It's actually in the middle of the not yet. When you live in the freedom realm, you don't just get faith or need faith when it's all over and you have the party. You use your faith in the middle of the not yet, the unknown. And that's the invitation God is inviting us into. Step into this with me and let's decide.